What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of MW Fisherman, and today we are doing top 5 summer bass lures that are gonna get you on fish. So let's get into number 1. Coming in hot at lure number 1 is going to be a hollow body topwater frog. This is a great technique to use in the summertime because it's hot, so those fish go up under that cover. And this bait being weedless, you can throw in any type of cover and be able to get that fish out. It's also super fun to catch bass on because you get to see them blow up on it. And they produce big fish too. I caught my 2 biggest bass this summer on a topwater frog. I have lots of frogs, some that have legs, some with skirts, some that are popping, some that are non-popping. But my overall favorite frog is that frog right there. That is the Booyah Pad Crasher. Not the junior size, we're here to catch big fish. But it's soft body, which means you have a good hookup ratio, but it's also pretty tough. It's not gonna fill up with water like cheaper frogs, and you can catch a lot of fish on it before it breaks. But frogs are a great bait to have in your tackle box, especially in the summertime. It's a super fun way to catch fish, and if you don't have one, you definitely need to go get one. So let's head on to lure number 2. Oh, bait number 2 is going to be a Wacky Rig Senko. This bait is so effective for bass fishing. The little shimmy it has when it falls, it drives bass crazy. I've been using this bait since I started bass fishing, and I continue to keep it on one of my rods when I go out because it is just such a versatile bait. It's finesse, but you will catch big fish on this rig too. I like to use this bait when I go to ponds, when I'm fishing shallow water, or especially when dock fishing, because of its round profile, you can just skip it up under that dock and get to places other guys can't. This bait, I use some different worms for it. I mainly use the Yum Dinger right there. That bait is a really good worm. It's half the price of a Yamamoto Senko, and I personally think it works better. I've also used some Zoom Trick worms and some KVD drop shot worms. It doesn't really matter what worm you're using. You just hook it in the middle with an octopus hook or like a Nico rig hook, and just cast it out there, jerk it a couple times, let it fall, jerk it a couple times, let it fall, and you'll get so many bites and so many fish on shore or in the boat. It's insane. It's one of the best baits ever for summer. So if you have not tried that bait, you definitely need to try it now. And let's go on to lure number 3. Bait number 3 is gonna be a spinnerbait. I got a few of them here. I mainly just stick with a white body spinnerbait with like a silver blade. I don't think it really matters. Then I put a paddle tail swim bait on the back or a curly tail grub. And then this bait is very good fishing edges of things. Like if you're at a pond, you cast this along the edge. Or if you're fishing docks, fish it right along the edge of the dock or the edge of a reed bed or the edge of a weed line. This bait's just very good for that. It's also pretty weedless because it has this arm right there that holds the blade on. And that arm protects it from getting hung up, so I'll throw it in like timber and reeds. Just throw it right in the middle of a reed bed and then just rip it back, and you'll catch a lot of fish doing that. But this bait's super fun for summer. When the fish are aggressive, they're just gonna hammer it, and it's really fun catching fish on this. You will catch a lot of fish if you just throw this all day. So this is a great bait to have in summer. Make sure you have some of these. Let's go on to bait number 4. Bait number 4 shouldn't even be ranked 4th, but I put it there, and that is a Texas rigged creature bait. That is a very good bait to throw in summer. You can pitch it under docks, you can cast it out in weeds and just fish it along the bottom. You can also even just swim it back like a swim bait or something. I made some bad casts, so I just start winding it up and then I catch one.
Oh yes, got one.
But this bait is just so good to use. For plastics, I mainly use the Guggen Baits Bandito Bug. I love this plastic. It's soft, but it doesn't rip, and the smell of it is so good. I think that's a big key to why it catches so many fish. I also use the Biospawn Vile Bug. That bait is good, but it rips a lot easier, I've noticed, than like the Guggen Baits or the other baits I'm about to show. I use some Zoom Lizards. Those are really good by docks or drop-offs. some Reaction Innovation Sweet Beaver, that's a good bait to use too. And then lastly, what's becoming one of my favorite creature baits is the Guggen Baits Trench Hog. This bait is a bigger profile than most other creature baits that are on the market. It's 6 inches, so you can cut off the front if you just want a shorter bait, but I use the whole thing, and you're gonna catch big fish on it, but you'll catch a small fish too. I've caught little 10-inchers on it. But this bait is just so good. I love them. They work really nice. And for color, it doesn't really matter the color. I use natural colors usually, but I'll throw black and blue or like a craw or green pumpkin with sparkles in it, or like summer craw and all those colors. And then I always weight my soft plastic creature baits. I use a Woo Tungsten 1/2 ounce tungsten weight on there, and then I always peg it. I just liked it pegged because otherwise your weight's sliding around and then it's not as weedless, which a big important factor about creature bait that's Texas rigged is that it's weedless. But if you want to get some of your own Woo Tungsten, you can use the code WooFriends10 and that will get you 10% off your order of Woo Tungsten, which is a good deal. It's not that expensive for tungsten. People think it's super expensive, but it's really not. If you don't have money though for tungsten, you can just buy lead. That'll work great too. And then they also sell pegs, which I always use. So that is what I throw for a Texas rig creature bait. It's a great bait to use in summer. You definitely need to be using this if you are not. Let's head on to bait number 5, jigs. I don't think these should be ranked 5th. They're such a good bait. I just use the other baits more. But these work really good in summer. You can fish them in lots of different cover. There's different jigs for each situation you're in. I'm probably gonna make a video just breaking down jigs. But I have like flipping jig, that's a 1 ounce jig. Then I got football, that's a 1/2 ounce. Then I got skipping jig, that is a 3/8 ounce. And this one has rattles in it. Then I got swim jigs, that's a 1/4 ounce, and then finesse jigs. This I think is a 1/16 ounce finesse jig. This is a Strike King Bitsy Bug. This jig works great if you're fishing ponds that have a lot of small bass, or even if you have big bass and the water's cold, throwing a smaller profile bait is gonna get you more bites. I love throwing jigs though. And trailers, I usually use like the Guggen Baits Bandito Bug and just cut off the front and put that on there. Or I'll use a smaller creature bait or a craw, a cracking craw, or a different craw, the pack craw. But really just put a soft plastic trailer on there and then throw it out there, hop it on the bottom, drag it on the bottom, swim it through the water, swim it right to the surface. Jigs are so versatile, they work really good in summer and they'll catch you a lot of fish. So that's why it's in the top 5. And it's definitely a bait you need in your tackle box. So those are my top 5 summer bass baits. I love using them, they work great. If you are not already using these, you should definitely check them out. But drop down in the comments what your top 5 favorite bass baits are and I'll check them out. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like button, pound the subscribe button if that's something you're into, and I'll see you next time on the next episode.